If you are thinking of a bank that takes care of customers' needs by providing quality services with flexibility, reliability, and innovation, think Trust Bank Limited. With Trust Bank Limited mobile banking, you enjoy services such as balance inquiry, mini statement, funds transfer between accounts, exchange rates, mobile airtime top-up, stop ATM card, checkbook request, and PIN change. Our real-time gross settlement allows the customer to instruct the bank to transfer funds from their account to another account at another bank. Our expertise and experience in international banking is both legendary and the envy of the market. Retail banking, one bank, different amazing packages. Whether you are interested in savings account, current account, time or fixed deposit account, lending or overdraft, our team of dedicated staff is always ready and willing to help you out with your transactions as you wish. Corporate banking. Trust Bank Limited offer the most convenient services for deposit accounts, credit facilities, trade finance, bond and guarantee, and foreign currency account. With e-banking, you can make electronic bill payments and online banking and enjoy 24-hour access to your cash with our ATM. With the largest network of branches and agents, we give you the convenience to receive funds as you please. Trust Bank Limited, proudly Gambian.
fay lempo warugal la ci képp koo xam ne doomi réew mi nga ak ñu fi dëkk bu fekkee ne ci at mi sa koom-koom weesu na $24,000 dalasi mbete weer bu nekk di nga am lu tollu ci $2,000 dalasi lempo si la nguur gi di sukkandeku ngir liggéey yokkute réew mi GRA mooy banxaas bu nguuri Gambia sas ngir mu fayeku lépp luy lempo ci biir réew mi ba tax na GRA di yëgal faykati lempo yi ne warugal la pour ñu fay lu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment maanaam bépp contract bu waay joxe te ci biir réew mi lañu toog kon xaalis ci contract bi ngeen nangotoo war nga cee wàññi ci xayma téeméer bu nekk fukka bu fekkee ne contracto bi dëkkut ci biir réew mi bu boobaa di nga war a wàññi téeméer bu nekk fukka ak juróom lii mooy lempo bu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment lii mooy lempo bi nga xam ne yow mi joxe contract warugal la nga wëlbatiku dem fay ko ci maakaani GRA tax office bu la gën a jege mbete ci banque yi GRA jagleel pour fay lempo war ngaa jébal lempo bi si diiri fukki fan ak juróom gannaaw bi nga wàññee ci xaalis si contract bi amul benn contracto bu ñu teggil fay lempo bi xanaa mu fekk ne nguuri Gambia ñoo ko jégale boole si projet yi nga xam ne mbootaay ndimbali ñoo koy dépense GRA di fayeku lempo ngir yokk.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Bibliomatic Exercise Book Printing Machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Bibliomatic Printing Machine, GPPC can now render high-quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
In communication, connectivity is everything. We ensure that the links never sleep. Quantities and qualities all in our data service, providing efficient, reliable voice and data service. We believe if you're not up to speed, then you're going backwards. Communications have to flow as fast as the speed of light. Whatever business you're in, having someone who understands your needs is critical. That is why we just don't offer you technology, we offer you solutions. Enjoy Gamcel's internet broadband anytime, anywhere. Your national operator, Gamcel.
This is a Kerr Fatou. Fatou.
Hello and welcome to another edition of our show, the Kerr Fatou. And today we're here again, and Esa is back. Esa, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you. And good evening to our wonderful viewers out there. Wish to take this opportunity to welcome you once again to Kerr Fatou Space here today. I didn't introduce the guests, but
why are you so much in the history to this organization?
I will anyway.
And of course, our guest today is Honorable Dominic Mendy. Dominic is the former, just before 2 days ago, he was the national president of the Citizens Alliance, a new party that is led by Dr. Ismail Cisse and himself. And of course, Dominic resigned 6th of July. Dominic, welcome to the Kerr Fatou for the first time.
Thank you. You're most welcome, and I'm happy to be here.
And Esther, I remember some years back when he was the Minister of Trade. I remember I was on TV and I was not smiling, and I was so serious on camera. And he called one of the directors and said, "Can you tell that girl to smile? It will help." And since that day I kept smiling. And he's a very good guy and who's been very much into nation building. But today, Esa, we're going to start first with normally what we do is the trending issues. Two issues that we're going to look at. One is the Bob Keita case. We're just going to do update on what is happening on that case. We are not going to look at the case itself because it's in court. And also we will look at the laying of the foundation of the OIC hotel, which is also in dispute. There's some things that came up. So we'll look at that just for 10 minutes. And of course, we will talk to Dominic about his resignation. What happened? Seems like CM tasna fumneni. But Uncle Dominic, why definitely we'll talk about that. But before we start all of that, I'll encourage those that are watching us to send us stars. If you're watching right now, to be able to help Kerr Fatou, send us stars. You will see the button on the network. You can always send us stars to support us. Now, Esa, let's start with the global homes. On Saturday, the president will be laying the foundation stone for the OIC hotel, where this land is the former anti-crime unit, which was allocated to Global Homes, an institution that I represent. The latest news is that the government has revoked that license, and the president will be laying the foundation of the hotel, for which will be used to host the OIC for 3 days, and then it's a private partnership with one Mr. Cham of Senegal. Now, I think the reason why we're talking about this again is this: few days ago, an email was circulating on social media regarding the name that has been used, Radisson Blu. Radisson Blu, we know, is a global hotel chain that is all over the world, and it is in Senegal. And this is what the hotel is supposed to be called. But the email is suggesting that Radisson Blu doesn't have a business in Gambia. In fact, if you go to their website, they have business in other countries, Nigeria and Ghana, but Gambia is not listed. But that doesn't mean that they are not working with anybody to have a hotel in Gambia. We want to make that clear. Now, the OIC Secretariat have issued a statement saying that email is bogus and fake. But then what this conversation, it brings up a conversation. If the email is fake, do you think it is important that the OIC show us at least some information where it has an agreement or their business partner has an agreement with Radisson Blu for them to be able to call the place Radisson Blu. Because again, this is our president. He's the highest personality in the country. If he's going to be at opening or laying a foundation for any project, and there's issues like this coming up, you think government should make further clarifications?
Yeah, I think that's important. I did not read the supposed fake email or bogus email. I did not read it. I saw OIC's Gambia Secretariat press statement on media platforms like Kerr Fatou, Fatou Network, and others. And so when I read it, it was like the email that was being circulated on social media is not something that came from Radisson Blu, meaning it's just by what they call scrupulous individuals. I mean, who came with this email just to discourage a lot of people out there that the OIC conference is going to be hosted in the Gambia. If I'm not mistaken, when this the advert that is being made on mainstream media about the foundation stone, the laying of the foundation stone, if I'm not mistaken, I think this is supposed to be completed in 2 years.
24 months, that was the timeline, 24 months.
24 months. Yes. So I don't know if it is 24 months and the OIC summit supposed to be this year. I don't know how they reconcile that, because when the president was even asked when he went for site visits about the projects, he was asked specifically, because the OIC cannot still tell us, the secretariat in the Gambia cannot still tell us when exactly this summit is taking place. And the president was asked this question. All that he could say is that, well, there is no exact specific date at the OIC summit, so it is going to be this year. So the president is telling us that it is going to be this year, but with the hotel, the project is supposed to be 24 months, like you get it. So it's rather unfortunate if this email is bogus and fake. And I think for one thing, it's not sending good message out there as far as the Gambia's preparation is concerned to host this summit. But then also, like we said, where the land is allocated is a point of, or center of dispute between the Global Home Mission and, of course, the government of the Gambia. I have not been following the matter since it started, but of recent I've developed interest in it, and I was able to read the Fact Check Gambia, the investigation that they have done into this matter. And they reveal a lot of things, very interesting things, where the government had said repeatedly that Global Home Mission does not even exist in the Gambia. That is what the government said, and that they have cancelled the lease that was given to them, because they said this was during Yahya Jammeh's time and it was illegally given to them or whatever. But if you look at the investigation done by Fact Check Gambia, and of course published by Yusuf Taylor, otherwise Flex Dam, it revealed that Global Home Mission indeed registered in the Gambia since 2007. Now, what the ministry also did was to check whether Global Home did exist in the Gambia since 2007. And according to the Fact Check investigation, the digitalized system, registration system only existed in the Gambia in 2014. Meaning, when Global Home of Mission registered in 2007, there was no digital registration system for the ministry to check and confirm whether they're in this register. And in fact, it was in 2006 that the Carnegie municipality, I think, gave, a recommendation for registration, something like that. If you check the documents provided by Fact Check Gambia, that is what it revealed. So, that reveals to us, or that tells us that what the government is doing, there have been court orders. In fact, in 2019, the Carnegie Magistrate Court made a court order, and in fact, asked the government to pay $50,000 to Global Home Mission, which they refused to do. And of course, we have seen recent court rulings also, in fact, asking the government to pay around $500,000, I think, if I'm not mistaken, for compensation, I think, for damage and all that not. But what we are seeing is that it's a blatant disregard of court orders by the government. All that we are seeing is that the government is issuing statements saying that we are cancelling the lease, Global Home Mission does not even exist in the Gambia. And the investigations that have been done by Fact Check Gambia reveal to us that Global Home Mission has been existing in the Gambia. So I think what is happening is the government needs to really come out and tell us in plain terms, that yes, there are court orders, but we are disregarding the court orders, because even the statements that come from the Ministry of Justice, there is nowhere where they are stating they are relying on the law, why they are not abiding by court orders. So it's rather unfortunate that this is happening in Gambia in 2022, when we are talking about democracy, when one politician said this government is the most law-abiding government in the history of the Gambia. And now we are having this government disregarding court orders in broad daylight, and no one is talking about it. I think, this will be a wake-up call for Gambians, that we cannot have law when those that make laws, they themselves respect those laws. At the end of the day, they are violating them. But also, Nene has been arrested several times, at some point harassed, allegedly. And this is very unfortunate. And the government is going ahead to lay the foundation stone, which tells us that really they are serious about this, and Global Home Mission might not get this place. And what happens now, whether the government will even compensate them at the end of the day, is a question. It's a question.
Honorable, you have an observation? I know you are a member of CA, and not in that capacity, as a private citizen. Any observation on this case?
No, I think I concur with him, because all I know is what he's explained. And as far as I'm concerned, as a citizen of this country, the final bastion for everybody is the law.
Yeah.
When all else breaks loose, all you depend on is the verdict of the law, which treats, or supposedly should treat, every individual equally, despite your social status.
Yeah.
And so if that law, which is supposed to be the arbiter for every human being and every institution in this country, passes verdicts, and those verdicts are not disregarded by individual persons but by government, it's really serious cause for concern.
Serious cause for concern.
Yes.
Well, let's hope that this doesn't attract any future issues, because Global Home is not taking this lightly. They're going back to the court, back and forth, and so a lawyer said to me, look, I think at the end of the day, it's going to be a win for them, because you build $100 million hotel in somebody's property. Governments come and go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Governments come and go.
Absolutely.
I have seen a case where an individual person, somebody took their land, and it was Jammeh's time. They live in abroad. They could not come. Now, after the change, they came and went to court.
Yeah.
They gave them the land, and this person had built a multi-million-dollar house in that property, but the court gave it to them. So I know it might be tough for them, but you never know. Governments come and go and change, and then I don't know.
And I think the reason why I'm so worried, so concerned, why a lot of people are not even taking this serious, I just don't get it. I mean, like I said, for God's sake, we are in 21st century, and we're talking about the so-called New Gambia, democracy, respect for fundamental rights and freedoms. Here is a matter that everybody, every Gambian, every concerned Gambian know very well, that the government is not relying on any law. Why they are denying this body or this lady from having access to this place. And what is so funny about this is that the police officers, the PIU officers that are always sent to this place to deny Nene from entering, you see, we said these police officers are law enforcement officers, right? Now, the legislature makes laws, the executive, implement laws, and the judiciary interpret it. Now here is the executive, the legislature have made laws. The judiciary, you have a matter, you went to the court. The judiciary interpret the law and pass an order. Now it is the responsibility of the executive, where you have the police, to implement that law. So the police, the PIU officers should not be there to deny Nene from accessing that place. They should be there to make sure that Nene has access to that place, because that is what the law says.
Absolutely.
So if everybody is saying that in a broad day, like that, is as if no one cares, that the government is coming outright, not relying on, if you see their statement, not even a single section of the law will they cite. They just said, we hereby cancel the lease given to Global Home Mission.
No, but what my thing is, where does that put the judge that made the ruling?
I mean, the judge only has a responsibility.
That's what I'm saying. Where does he put it?
Can that statement really set aside a legal ruling?
No,
it cannot.
Because you see,
there's already a judgment.
Exactly. I'm not a lawyer, but I know for a fact that it is only when a court order is made, that court order cannot be overturned. It can only be overturned by the same court
or a
higher court.
Yes.
But not by a mere press statement from the government or Ministry of Justice making a statement to say we have cancelled the list, and everybody is quiet. Everybody goes. So sometimes I look at Gambia, I see we are not even serious about the democracy we're talking about. You see, people just want to invoke democracy and human rights when it affects them. When it doesn't affect them, no one cares. Today it's Nene. Tomorrow it could be somebody else. I mean, it has been happening in this country. We've seen when Ismail Assise was arrested here in 2018. It did not stop at him. Next was Mazi Jobate. Today is Nene. It might not be you, but tomorrow it might be you. So people must be on alert. When government does this and gets scot-free, I mean, it's like they're setting a very bad precedent. So people, there should be concern. I think Gambians should have been out there to ask the government to just respect the law. The court order has been giving, and I don't also, to be honest with you, I think the media has not also been giving much attention to this case. Because all that we see normally is they will write stories about it. Few media houses will write stories about it. But normally it's Nene herself, when she goes there, she takes videos. And then posts it on social media. That's how people access it. Even the harassment and all that has been done, people access it through Nene's own videos.
I mean, there's some media houses, especially Gainako, they have been really prominent about this, because that's why, in fact, they got arrested. So it's definitely crazy the way this case is going, and I think, just like you said, it's a blatant abuse of our laws. But again, somebody was saying, but government owns all lands. Yes, but government allocated it to somebody. And there are laws when you allocate, when you take back those lands also, there are laws,
so
right?
If they say government owns all lands, if I have my land, buy my land and have it, build it, stay there, the government can come one day and tell me, yes, I'll leave this land.
Well,
so I mean,
there are laws how you possess law.
So if you come and said I should leave this land, you know, government has a project there or somebody should come there, then I went to court, I challenged the court, says I own it, and gave order in fact to say that you should pay me compensation, and you said no. So I don't know, it's like the government is just even telling the judiciary or the judge, you are foolish. We are not listening to you.
Yeah, they're setting aside the judiciary and also setting aside the legislature, because these laws were passed
and
in
even
our
the
parliament.
so there should
so
be
now we do not have the three arms of parliament of governance anymore. All we have is the executive, because this is an insult to the existence of the judiciary as well as the legislature.
And if you tell us that citizens should respect the law, that is why even the Bob Keita case will come there. We are not talking about the substance of the matter. But that is why I saw somebody who commented when the government issued a statement yesterday to say they are warning citizens.
Oh my God, you have to see our comment section.
Some people said, I mean, you are asking us to abide by the law when there is a matter here, when the court ordered that you should leave this land, this place belongs to Global Home, and you disregard it. So you are here refusing to abide by the law, respect the law, and you're asking citizens to respect the law. So who knows where this is going?
Yeah. It's an interesting case. Let's see how it goes. Saturday, the foundation will be laid by His Excellency the President, and then the hotel will be built. Let's see what happens next. Now, I move on to the Bob Keita. I want to give an update, because I think a lot of the people, this case has been going on for the past 2 years. 2.5 years. A lot of people getting to catch the attention recently, but they maybe some haven't understand the case proper. Now, this 2.5 years ago, I think Bob's got divorced with his ex-wife, Sainabo. And Sainabo and his family allegedly reported a case at the police that he raped her 15-year-old sister who got pregnant. And that's what, few months after they were separated. And then Bob was arrested again, then with the then boyfriend, because she had a boyfriend as well. She was 15. She had a boyfriend. So both of them were arrested. But as time goes on, the boyfriend was excluded from the case. And then the case got going on against Bob and the state. It was going on. I do remember that this judge did remand Bob at the Bundung police, because it was during the COVID time. Bob was at the Bunding police station for some time, and then he was later bailed. The judge bailed him. This Justice Jallo bailed Bob. So when he was bailed, for some time, he was out. I think the state appealed the case, at the appeals court. A 3-man panel looked at the case, and they revoked his bail in 2021, if I'm not mistaken, and sent him to Mile 2. Now, it was not Justice Jallo who sent him to Mile 2. He had bailed him. It was the appeals court, when the state appealed, that sent him to Mile 2. So he was sent to Mile 2. And then he was going back and forth in court. But I think what really triggered now all the attention was when the time of the DNA. Again, the case was a rape case against Bob. It was not a paternity issue. That was not the case. When the state appealed for the test, I think Bob's lawyers did not want to do the test because it's not about the paternity. According to the argument, it's more about whether he was raped, proving whether there was rape. And they also believe the state was trying to waste their time, and their client was already in Mile 2. So that's where the argument started, really getting attention of people. And I think the judge at some point also ruled July 7th that yes, there should be a DNA. He ruled for the DNA to take place. And then accidentally, the child in question had an accident, allegedly was locked in a car for 3 hours, and he died. But according to them, before he died, they drew his blood, and then he was flown to Dhaka where he died. Now, this is where the case started getting crazy, because now this guy is in Mile 2, and he's been tried for rape. And now the people that were in custody of the child, at the same time, when the DNA test is supposed to be conducted, the child died. So, it started getting twisted. People started saying, oh, there's foul play here. Maybe they did something, and then let's free Bob. Let's free Bob. And then it becomes complicated. But now Bob is, there are two cases here. I don't want to go to the substance of the case. I know today Bob was in court because the judge has ruled that Bob should do a DNA. Last week he was taken to the RVTH to take his blood samples, which they have done, and also the boyfriend. And they also said they have samples from Mohammed before he died. But they also said when he comes, they will still do it because the lawyers were not satisfied with that blood sample. Now, the other thing is Bob's lawyers are contesting that ruling, that why in the first place we're doing a DNA, because this is a rape case, it's not a paternity test. So they appealed for, at the High Court, at the Appeals Court, to set aside the rule, this July 7th ruling. So that is at the Appeals Court right now. So today Bob was in court again to execution of stay, how do you say it, to make sure the judge doesn't do the ruling so that the DNA continues pending the appeal that they have made at the High Court, at the Appeals Court. Now that is the status of the court. As we speak also, Seynabou and the dead body were in Senegal. And I spoke to the police PRO today. They issued a statement last night, I think, or day before yesterday, that they had arrested 2 people that were involved in the alleged killing of Mohammed, or the death of Mohammed, sorry. Now, those 2 people have been released. They're helping them with investigations according to the police. On bail, strict bail conditions. That's what the police PRO told me. I was going to call him to get him on the phone because they wanted people to understand that it's not just bail, strict bail conditions. And I also asked if they are in contact with Seynabou and they believe she will be coming. They said, in fact, very soon she will be back with the dead body of Mohammed. So it's a very complicated case. It's sad, but the conversation this has brought is the judiciary. How our judicial system is slow in delivering any verdict. I have said this the other time. I remember we were here with Abdullah and Aziz, and I said, look, what is happening in our judicial system is crazy. You have cases running for 10 years, 7 years. If you're connected, you are lucky you get your case sorted out in 3-5 years. Let's remember a few cases. Solo Sandeng's
6 years.
9 case. Took 6 years. Solo Sanding's body, as we speak, is still lying in the mortuary. And the reason why the case is not buried is because the case did not finish on time. 6 years it took to finish that case. The NIA, even though they are convicted of killing Solo, but they had a right to speedy trial.
Yeah.
But it took 6 years. As we speak, Bob's case is taking almost 3 years, and that's why you see the anger in the people. A lot of people are saying, why is he in jail for all this long? But then I think people should also understand and differentiate these two cases. Bob is going to court for alleged rape. And if Senawu and her family are going to be investigated, they're also going to be taken to court for either murder or manslaughter or whatever, if they're charged for whatever they're charged for. And they're going to go through the same process. And it is the same process that I am going through for a case that I have 5 years now is still at pending. Our case with OJ.
Oh, it's still there.
It's still in court. It's still in court after 4 or 5 years. And it's still at mention stage. Every single day you go to court, it's still at mention stage, 5 years after.
Yeah.
So our judicial system is crazy. And then I think what this is bringing is a conversation about what is happening in the judiciary. Sometimes you hear saying, judges, my driver is sick. My car has a problem. I have a naming ceremony. Like seriously, the other day I was saying this here. There are people at mile 2 who have just stolen a bottle of water, but because they don't have lawyers, number one, or they don't have representation, or they cannot have a date in court, they are in mile 2 for stealing a joint, or they were caught smoking a joint. They are in mile 2 right now without even starting a trial. Now this is the conversation that we need to have. What is happening in our judiciary is crazy. It's not about this case alone, but it's about all other cases that are happening in this country and are taking so long. 5 years, like I said, Solo Sanding's body lying at the mortuary for 5 years just because a case is not ready, because it has to wait. This is what is happening with this case.
Yeah, it's sort of unfortunate. I mean, if you look, like you said, we will not comment on the substance of the matter because it's already in court.
Yeah.
As sensitive as it is.
Yeah.
But like you said, the state has a responsibility, and this is all part of respecting the fundamental rights of citizens or individuals living within that state. And Bob, as a citizen, the child who died. The victim have a right, and the right is to have fair trial.
Yeah.
And they have right to justice.
Yeah.
Justice must be served. Justice must not only be done, but it must seem to be done.
Yeah.
And I hold the state responsible for, what is happening today. Like you said, a lot of cases are in court, dragged for so long. It seems like the state has no interest in them. I'll give you a few examples, even though they might be different, because Solo Sanding's is a
bigger magnitude of the case.
Killing. You talk about the case of Yankuba Ture. It's murder. Bob Keita's trial is rape. These are more sensitive, and the others attract capital punishment, death sentence. While this one attracts life in jail. But we have seen cases here that have gone so fast within the blink of an eye. They are done.
They are done.
When UDP contested the election results,
it
did not even take them 3 weeks or
2 days.
Because the state has an interest in it, right? Based on a technicality, the case was thrown out. Okay, and
it's finished.
We have sseen other cases too. I mean,
even UDP versus Sirifo Sonko.
Yes, Sirifo Sonko.
It took just 1 month or 2. It was over.
It was over.
Other cases, You
have Yankuba Ture's case. It took like 2 years or so before they were able to finally deliver judgment. Solo Sanding's 6 years. This man's case has been going on for more than 2 years now, and even the DNA test that they were talking about, I don't know why the DNA test was not even conducted way earlier. Even when the lawyers contested that they shouldn't do the DNA, They did not do it because the lawyers contested. But even up to now, the lawyers contested that the DNA should not be done. But the court went ahead and gave order for the DNA to be done. So all these are, Bob has a right to be free if he is innocent. But also he must man up if he is guilty, that is by making sure that justice is served.
Yeah.
That he is punished accordingly. But you cannot do this when and that is why it has attracted so much noise. A lot of people are so angry about it.
Yeah.
I've read someone's piece last night. It's a very interesting piece where he looked at, he said this is a matter between a perpetrator and a victim. But everybody has now become a victim in this case. Bob is a victim.
Yeah.
Mohammed is a victim, the child who died. The girl herself, the 15-year-old girl, is a victim. Senabu is a victim. A lot of people out there are victims today, in the sense that the state failed to play their part. The state failed to do its responsibility. Like you talk about cases being adjourned, you go to court, they will tell you that, you know, the judge is sick, or the judge has a naming ceremony, or the judge has a funeral, or the judge has an engagement, or the judge is this. I mean, and these are foolish issues that, you know, cases will be adjourned on. At the end of the day, we have cases being dragged for years. That is why they said, it seems like in the Gambia, the law is only for the so-called elites. If you are poor, you don't have representation, proper representation, you'll be lying in jail for years before your matter is being heard at the courts, before judgment can be passed. And I think the state has a responsibility to restore that confidence. When this change of government came, a lot of people, especially of recent, has confidence in the judiciary. If you look at all the surveys that have been done by Afrobarometer, you have high rate of confidence in the judiciary, especially when it comes to the independence. We have seen cases here that the state has lost. The Yakumba Jeta case, a lot of other cases, and the government has agreed to abide by those rulings. So it seems like there is trust in the judiciary. But matters like this, cases like Bob's case, if we are not very mindful, is going to reduce the confidence in the judiciary because of so many other things, especially when it comes to dragging the cases for so long unnecessarily. And I think it is high time that the state looks into this matter.
I mean, you know, even the victims who like the alleged 15-year-old, keeping the case for 2-3 years, you're denying her justice.
Even the trauma,
the trauma that she goes through every single day. People talk about this case.
Yes, the trauma that she goes through, the trauma that Bob goes through, the trauma that Senabu goes through.
Everybody.
I mean, even the child dead, but I mean,
it's a very sensitive case, and
the social trauma.
Even the families of both Bob and
it's become. I mean, everybody's become a judge of the case.
Exactly.
And I think it's important for people to be sensitive. I want to say this. This is a very serious and complicated case, and you know, it's very sensitive as well. But there are victims here that we also should be a little sensitive to when it comes to this case. If there's going to be any process, and I think people should understand, and before I got into this, I saw a post that Watson Gambia wrote, and I wanted to say that on my show, and then I was going to Facebook, I saw it. I saw a lot of people saying, free Bob, free Bob. There's a process ongoing right now. It is only the court that can free him because he's going through a process. The lawyers know what they're doing, and he's going through a process. If the court frees him, he's going to go home. But at this point, until and unless that process is exhausted, he cannot be freed. In fact, his lawyers, I haven't seen anywhere where they are talking about getting a bail for him. I haven't seen that. I think what they are following the process and following what is going through. So people need to understand that. Some people go with the hope that today he's going home. That is not possible because that is not the process.
The case has been adjourned.
The case has been adjourned till Monday, and we see what goes on. But also, Senabu, we are told by the police that they are very optimistic she will be back very soon. In fact, today, before I came in, I spoke to the police PRO. He told me they are in contact with the Senegalese. Senabu will be back very soon with the dead body, and then they have started their investigations. So let's give the law enforcement the chance to do their job. Let them, the Mohammed's death should be thoroughly investigated. And anybody found wanting should face the law. But let's not take the law into our own hands and stop the bullying and stop the personal attacks. And we will have different views on these cases because we all do not believe in the same thing. I might not be for Bob. You might be for Senabu. You might be for Bob. But the common good is, this is a democracy. Everybody has an opinion, and you have to respect people's opinion. Just because they are not in the same position with you doesn't mean you should bully them because you are more than them when it comes to the campaign. And we should be very sensitive to the victims as well, because what this does, there are very, very serious rape cases in this country, and we cannot deny that. But what we don't also want to encourage is people reporting false rape cases. But again, if we want to be sensitive to people, we have to also respect that there are women who are also being abused, and we have to be sensitive to these issues. It's not about being feminist or not feminist. This is about humanity. We all have sisters and brothers at home. I wouldn't want anybody to accuse my son for something like this, but I wouldn't want anybody also to accuse my daughter, to abuse my daughter. So if we take that from that angle, I think we should have a common ground and understand that this is a very sensitive issue for Bob's family, for Senabu's family, and for all of us as Gambians. But I think the judiciary has a big role to play in this. Expedite the judicial system. That way, victims will have justice. But people that are allegedly accused of issues also, things also, will have their fair trial.
Absolutely.
Once that is done, everybody goes home and
I think people should even be on the side of the law, not necessarily on the side of Bob, not on the side of Senabu or the victim. I think people should be on the side of the law to make sure that justice is served. If really, I mean, it is proven beyond reasonable doubt that, you know, Bob is guilty of this crime, I mean, people should respect the ruling of the court and to make sure that justice is served. But it is proven otherwise that Bob is not guilty of the alleged crime. I think people should also respect that and, you know, make sure that he has a right to be out there and live as a citizen. Because for me, it is also about the trauma that all of these people go through. Be it Bob and his family, be it Senabu and her family, the victim. You know, I mean,
I don't know who is thinking about those two little girls, Bob's kids.
Yeah, the two little girls, in fact, because these people also have a moral, if you look at it.
They are going to grow into this society, reading all these things about their parents.
Your parents have been...
It's a very complicated and complex issue.
And that's why I said from the moral perspective. And that is why it is important that, because a lot of people are very insensitive of these two kids.
Two girls.
But I remember, I think last week or so, he sent a birthday wish to them from Mile 2. So a lot of people are insensitive to this. They forget about these two kids. That they will grow up in society, and it's important. Be it the
internet never forgets.
Exactly. Be it everybody else that is a party to this case, to be sensitive to these people, to know that they will grow up in a society where they wouldn't want to be reminded of what their parents have gone through. Because I think this is the most famous rape case. I mean, it's the most talked about rape case in the history of this country.
And the mobilization that you get to see
you can't just understand where people are coming from, left, right, and center. Everybody's saying, but it tells us that, you know, people at some point are also concerned about how their country is run, about the governance in the country, how the government, especially the judiciary, is taking...
It's encouraging that the citizens are taking part in things that are concerned them. We never had that in this country, and that is encouraging. The fact that people are engaged, they said, no, we want the judiciary to take things this way, they want it, that is encouraging.
And although that's a selective process, we just talked about Nene. You know, that's not a case that the citizens have made priority in terms of abuse of governance. You know.
And that's why I said people should have been concerned about it.
Absolutely.
And so finally, and also, you know, how do you call it? The government released a statement last night about the assembly, and today, unfortunately, in the morning, they did tear gas some supporters that are the police. That is so unfortunate. But, you know, at the end of the day, everything went well. He's coming back to court on Monday. Now, we go to CA. You want to start with Dominic?
No.
So, what happened, Honorable? Why that resignation and the content of that letter? What happened?
I thank you very much. I wanted to make a caveat before I answer your question.
Great.
Because that's extremely important.
It's important, yes. Go ahead.
I am not at war with CA. And I want to make that very clear. I'm at war with people in CA who do not respect the moral values and the value system of CA, the basis on which CA was created and marketed to the public for which the public endear CA. And I felt that that was a breach of public trust. So I don't want my interviews to be interpreted as if he's now fighting with CA, he wants to bring CA down.
Yeah.
In fact, I perceive my resignation as a sacrifice to recreate CA.
Okay.
Because I feel CA is going down the drain and nobody seems to be cognizant of that within the party structure, because CA is being taken down the drain by its party leader, Dr. Ismaila Cissé, and Rafi Diab. These two people are liabilities to CA today, and these people do not deserve to belong in CA, much more even to belong in the executive committee of CA. And we've done everything possible. I was the national president of CA. I have fought, and I have tried to resolve these problems internally. These are CA internal issues which should not even have been made public. But when you can't contain it inside, it will just have to spill over, you know. That's exactly what has happened. So my idea of resigning from CA is to ensure, to encourage CA to rethink its political trajectory and hopefully redeem itself before it loses the little relevance it has secured since 2019, you know. And I hope that will happen. So I am not at war with CA. I do hope that my resignation will lead to that, and that CA will come back to that party which people look forward to and hope that in a few years it will be one of the parties that will be viable alternative governments.
You said something that is really, you said, see, for what the party was built upon, that is not there anymore. And you mentioned two people, the party leader and Rafi. What exactly can you pinpoint to and say, this is what they have done? What actually brought most of the issues
is that CA had an issue with Rahim.
Who is Rahim?
Abdurrahim.
Okay.
Abdurrahim Jallo. Abdurrahim Jallo complained about the fact that Dr. Ismaila Cissé received vehicles from NPP during the election or prior to the elections.
Prior to the elections.
And he deployed those vehicles in certain divisions using party members to go around to the CA base and ask them to vote for NPP. That was his allegation. And of course that allegation came and we tried to resolve that internally. I was the party president. It is my job to investigate and find out if it has happened.
Yeah.
And if it has happened, we should use internal mechanisms to resolve that and make sure it does not happen again. We went through all of that, but eventually Ismaila decided that this fellow should be sent out of the party for saying what he said. So it is now time for us to speak the truth. Because when he said, I called him to my office and said, look, you don't have to go that route with this young man. Because what the young man said was true.
So it was true that
Dr.
Cissé got cars from
he got vehicles from them and he deployed them. He didn't use the proper party structures because of course that would be a problem.
Yeah.
You know? And they investigated Rahim internally. You know? But eventually, they investigated Ismaila himself and discovered that yes, Ismaila agreed that yes, he received these vehicles from the NPP.
Was it just vehicles or vehicle with cash?
Well, I'm not sure about the cash.
Okay.
But the vehicle, that is something I'm sure about because when that happened, Ismaila came to me and told me that.
Okay.
That he received these vehicles and he has deployed them. And I told him, no, you should not have done that. Because when you were going there, I warned you that if the president might ask you for a few things, but there are certain things for which you must tell him, even if you want to do them for him, I have to go back to my party because it's only the party that can sanction some of those things. That did not happen. Why did you do that? But anyway, we went into the National Executive and we discussed all of these things. And we reprimanded him verbally, you know.
You wrote to him?
No, we didn't write to him. We reprimanded him verbally and said that that should never happen again.
Okay.
But he was already at odds with Rahim, who felt insulted because he's such a senior member of the party and he was in West Coast region and he saw these things happen, and he actually, other people contacted him that it was happening, and he defended Ismaila like defending his own life, only to discover later he felt insulted, he felt used and whatever. So, well, okay, but the fact is it has happened. So even if this young man has said things like that, I felt that it was in order for us to sit down and resolve this. So I brought this to the National Executive and I thought this thing was over. But Ismaila went and had an interview with Minketa, Nimbekeri, you know, and said so many things, including this subject matter. Of course, it triggered the urge in Rahim himself to go and clarify and defend himself. And he did. And Ismaila's verdict was that this man must leave the party. He came to me and I said he cannot. What we might do is, look, I'll call him and let's sit down and get this sorted out. And Ismaila actually agreed with me. When I was telling Ismaila that I called Nene as a witness in my office.
The spokesperson. Okay.
And we talked to Ismaila and Ismaila agreed. So I called Rahim. Rahim came to my office, and when Ismaila was going down, Rahim was already at the reception waiting to come into my office because I wanted to also ask him to, you know, to just forget about it and let go and you know, and let's hope that this will not happen again. Ismaila left, and then he sent a text, or I cannot remember what he did, but he sent a message to say that Rahim was downstairs, and he felt I was conspiring with Rahim to fight. Conspiring with him to fight who? What am I going to fight him for? After all, if I had wanted to fight him, I would have brought this out into the public domain when it actually happened. But I took it to the National Executive and we reprimanded him verbally. And he agreed that he did this thing, but he did this thing in his own person. Can you be a party president and go to another party and they ask you for endorsement and you say, no, I will endorse you in my person, but I do not endorse you as the president of the other party? That's not possible. Yeah. If you become a president of a particular party, you speak for the party.
For the party, yes.
It just shows leadership responsibility, or in his case, the lack of it. Okay. Now, when that happened, okay, I wrote an email to the National Executive and advised them on how to approach this, which includes that we should discuss this and we should make sure that internally we resolve it and we lay this matter to rest. Ismaila suspended my powers as national president. Oh yes, because he did not use the word suspend. He went and decided, he established an investigation committee. You cannot establish an investigation committee for him without regard for the email I wrote in terms of the way forward that I advised that we should take.
Yeah.
He did that. And he constituted them. He took bogus members like Rafi and the others into the committee. And you know, and they went, and I allowed them to go through the process. But at the end of the process, I called the chairman of the committee, that is Ali Jan, he's a diasporan. And I said, after you have investigated Rahim, please can you also investigate Ismaila? Because Ismaila agreed to us. And I know that he went to see the president. And I also know that he came back to me and said that he received these vehicles and he's deployed them. So they investigated him. He refused eventually, but eventually he agreed that yes, he did that, but he did that in his own person. How can a politician, somebody with a PhD in political science, thinks like a little child in politics? It is not because he does not know He's a very wise and educated man. It is because he was dishonest. That's the point. Okay, and then when it was brought to their attention in the investigation committee that this subject matter was true and that in fact it was discussed at the level of cabinet, people like Rahim and Alpha and Lube and all these people said they did not discuss this at our national executive. They could not even be decent enough to agree that yes, this decision, this issue was discussed, and that Ismaila had agreed that he did this, and that we had agreed that we were just going to admonish him verbally, but and made sure that this will not happen anymore. They could not even own up to that. Tell me, when we established CA, we established CA because we thought that integrity in politics was lost in this country. And we thought that because the youth are the people who have who face the highest stakes in bad politics, we thought that we were going to put together a machinery that will harness youth energy, youth wisdom, to be able to create a political force that will be sensitive to what the potential impact of bad politics on the future of the youths. That's exactly what we thought. And we brought these people together. We constituted a constitution, and we had a party manifesto, and we broadcasted this party manifesto and constitution, and we made our message very clear and very easily understood. And I tell you what, even those people who do not vote for us do not contest our message. They accept our message for what it was worth. Today, you are behaving exactly like the politicians we found here and the politicians whose politics we detested, and for which reason we established a party like CA. So what difference do you make anymore? So I thought that we've lost it as a party because the national executive is not telling him the truth. The only person in that party who challenges Ismaila and faces Ismaila and all the others with the truth, apart from me, is Nene.
The spokesperson.
Yes, absolutely. Because she's the spokesperson. She's the one who goes out there
and defends
the indefensible.
Because when there were rumors that Ismaila went to the president, that he did not even consult the executive, Nene was everywhere defending it. People said, but that's true. I remember it was Alcamba Times. It was Seni Marina wrote about that, and Nene was everywhere defending it.
And rightly so, because she consulted, Ismaila consulted the executive. And we discussed it. And we said, well, if the president is the one that has called you, a president does not call you and you refuse to go.
Yes.
We are not at war with government. We are an alternative government. And if it is not possible to form government, we can form government. So the thing is, if the president calls you, you expect that if when you become president, you call others, they will come and answer. But the thing is, when you go there, we think that these are some of the things that he might talk to you about. But if he raises them, these are our positions on them. No, we have party positions on these issues. So you go there and make sure you do what we have asked you to do. But you don't go there. So, and that's what Nene is right to say that yes,
he consulted.
He consulted.
Okay.
But how he ended up was not were not the instructions that the party gave him.
But Honorable, I mean, I think you're talking about consultation. But what was out there, if you say what Seni Marina posted, was that Ismaila did meet President Barrow prior to the election.
Absolutely,
prior
it is
to the
true.
election. And when I think people like Nene and others said Ismaila did not meet the president because Ismaila himself was out to say he did not meet the president. He denied that. And when Rahim came out to say vehicles were giving and all that note, when he had that interview in Membe Kering, the statement that came from CA was that indeed when Ismaila vehicles were not giving, where Ismaila was going to meet the president, you know, he consulted the national president to seek advice, and the national president was like, you are, if the president calls you, he has right to call you.
Yeah, absolutely.
I say, but they did not mention in that statement that he consulted the executive. So they deny, they're trying to, I mean, say that what Rahim said was not true, but they did not counter the statement that he did not consult the executive.
That is the problem about trying to dress an evil act. Look, if you want to protect Ismaila, you protect Ismaila by helping him to do and say the right things.
Yeah.
That's the only way. In football, the best defense is scoring goals. It's not stopping people from scoring goals on your side. Score the goals. If you score 20 goals before these people catch up, you would have won the match because it would be 90 minutes. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
So the truth really is, I am sure, because who wrote those letters? You know, they were trying to defend Ismaila. And you cannot, you know, what is not true cannot be defended for too long, because it has so many ways of leaking out.
Yeah, I want to say, because when Nene said this, I think Nene appeared on Fatou Network show. What is the name of the show again? And the one hosted by Banker and others.
For the people.
For the people, and by the people. When she appeared there, I did not watch it, but somebody watched it and briefed me to say that Nene was asked. They said, you were out there when people came out and said Ismaila met the president before the election. You were out there to defend him, to say, no, he did not. But what he said, he responded to say, yes, I was out there to say he did not, because I consulted Ismaila. I asked him, did you really meet the president? And Ismaila said he did not meet the president. So as her party leader, she strongly believes in Ismaila. What is
well, Ismaila told her that he didn't meet the president. That was a lie, because Ismaila told me that he met the president. Ismaila told me that he received vehicles from the president, and he's deployed those vehicles to tell our base to support the president.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a
That is wrong. He should not have done that. But that is where everything about CA, that was where we had problems. And that was the bone of contention between Ismaila and Rahim. And Rahim went out angrily, you know, protesting. You can't fault Rahim for his nature of protest and say, well, if there is a domestic problem, we should solve it domestically. But you cannot fault him for the accuracy of what he is saying.
Okay.
And I'm very particular about that.
Yeah.
You know, we all raise children. Your child can go out in the streets and talk about something that has happened in the house, which you as the head of the household do not want to get into the streets. But do not ever reprimand the child for stating the truth.
Yeah.
Even if you are going to reprimand the child, make sure the child knows that it is not because what the child said was wrong, but how and where the child said
that.
Yeah, Fatou, I must say this. I mean, his resignation came as a surprise, a shock, and a disappointment, in the sense that you know, here is a man I do not know. Mr. Dominic,
I know
to be honest, I do not know him. But when he was, you know, when you know the party was formed, you know, when they were registered at the IEC, I watched his interview there. I remember Ismaila did not even talk to the media, because then he was at the university.
Yes, I was the party leader at
exactly.
the time.
You were the party leader at the time, and you spoke. So people told me that you know, he's I think then I was in the UK, where people told me, so I wasn't around. I did not even attend your registration and all that. So people told me that you were a former minister under the Jammeh government.
Absolutely.
And you know, somebody who is really principled.
And one of those ministers, I would say, from Jammeh's time, I was at JRTs, I do remember, there was never a time, he was finance minister, there was never a time you would hear anything, anywhere, that Dominic has ever done or so. So he's a very principled guy.
When the party was formed, it gave hope to a lot of young people.
Absolutely.
I mean, especially those in the intellectual world in the Gambia. I mean, people feel like here is a party that we think can be an alternative. And looking at Ismaila as the leader of that party, somebody who has a degree, as he said, PhD in political science, has taught in the university. He taught me. Ismaila taught me way back in 2011. I graduated and became his graduate assistant. I assisted him. I mean, all those theories, all those good advice that he will give us in class, and the admiration a lot of people have for him within the university and even outside, especially in 2017, when nobody dares to challenge Barrow. He was the one out there who was so outspoken. I mean, talking about sensitive issues and critical issues in government, to the extent that he was arrested, to the extent that the president had to attack him. And then when he came into politics, a lot of people are out there to say that really they believe that CA will be a party that will provide an alternative. And as an opposition, I mean, teaching us, as well as a lecturer, teaching us about African politics, where opposition are being, co-opted. In fact, I remember a course called Contemporary Gambian Politics and Culture. When he taught me that, we were talking about political co-optation in Jawara's government, political co-optation in Yaya Jammeh's government. People like Wajuara, Sirif Diba were co-opted into the government. And, emphasizing the need for, African opposition parties to be credible. I mean, to really, really stand on their ground, to make sure that, they change the country for good. And this is what we all believe that CA was coming to do. But it was so disappointing and shocking to see, or to realize that Ismaila did meet President Barrow, and I was told, I'm not sure how true it is, but I was told that this happened just 2 or 3 days before the election. And, after meeting the president, he denied it, but later we realized that after the election, he met the president. I think this was towards the end of December. He met the president again for the second time. And that's where they took pictures, and he posted it on social media to say, I met with the president and we discussed a lot of things. But also, when he posted that picture, some people on social media, tried to hold him to account by bringing one of his tweets that he made, I think in 2021 or 2020, I think 2021, where he said, Barrow is going to rig the election. So people must be aware of that he's going to rig the election, that we should not allow pseudo-democracy. I remember this word, pseudo-democracy, in that tweet. So again, you came to meet the president and even congratulate him on his victory. Somebody that you said would rig the election, but at the same time you came to congratulate him on his victory, meaning you are congratulating a man who stole the election, who rigged election and win based on that, because that's what you believe in. Before the election, you said he will rig the election. So, I mean, when these things were happening, all these were signs that, probably there was a problem within the party. And people were concerned about the leadership, whether Ismaila was doing these things without advice or guidance from other members, senior members from the party like you. And when these things were happening, I understand, because I was going to ask, why didn't you resign way earlier? But I understand that you said you were trying to, you're trying to resolve it internally because it was a domestic problem. But it seems like from your explanation, it got out of hand, and you think the best thing to do, the most honorable thing to do was to resign, is to resign. But also you resigned on the 6th of July, Honorable. And this did not come out until 10 days later on the 16th of July. Why that delay for 10 days?
No, I can't answer that question. I submitted my resignation 6th July. In fact, if you look at my resignation letter, I CC'd it to IEC.
IEC, yeah.
But I have still not submitted the copy to IEC because I wanted to give them the option to bring it to the public. That is because my intention is not to destroy CA. My intention is to wake CA from its slumber. And so I wanted them to choose how to bring it to the public domain. I still have time to submit my copy to
Honorable, you said something, your opening statement, the interpretation is Dr. Cisse and Rafi are using the party as their, for their own personal gains. How?
Let me not say their own personal gains, because I didn't use those.
You don't use that word.
Liability.
They are liability to the party. Look.
How?
Let me tell you, what Doctor has done, just the fact that he's done one of those things, going to meet the president, receiving vehicles from NPP, campaigning, and that has brought, whether you accept it or not, that has torn our party apart.
Yeah.
Our party was torn between those who agreed and disagreed with him. That's the most dangerous thing. Any party leader, that could have been done by an ordinary member of the party, not even a member of the national executive, much more the party leader himself. It would have been even more excusable if it were done by me.
Yeah.
And even then, it's still not excusable. So that's the reason I said, Ismail is a liability to that party. And since then, you know that we used to hold press conferences every month.
Yes.
You came to those press
your
conferences.
monthly press conferences, to address the nation,
Yeah.
things that were happening. And since then, things have gotten...
And we did not hold press conferences to castigate government. No, we held press conferences to advise government.
Why are
and
you
hold
doing
government accountable where we needed to hold them accountable.
Yeah.
But since having gone and having deployed those vehicles, Ismaila does not even want to talk to any press officer about CA. Let's be honest about it. We cannot hold press conferences. We cannot hold press conferences. You want to organize press conferences
again.
Yeah, that's the point. So where are we? Look, even when Nene is going through all this ordeal.
I was going to come to that.
And Nene is a member.
Come to that later.
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Nene is the spokesperson of our party. We are not looking at it from a political perspective, just from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
One of the perspectives from which we have looked at several other issues legal issues and provided advice to government. It is difficult for Ismaila. He has not done that yet. I don't know if he will ever do it, but he has not stood on a podium and blamed government for the way in which it is disregarding legal verdicts.
What do you think he must do? What do you think is responsible for that?
I don't want to guess that. He has his own reasons for doing what he has done. But what I am confident about is that that is immoral. That is sufficient for him to relinquish leadership of that party and give it to some other young person. There are so many young persons. And it's very simple for people to see me talking and they say, oh yeah, he wants to become a leader of the party. No. When we established that party, the first thing I told every member of CA, and I did the same thing during our launch. I am a heart patient. I had heart surgery in 2015. And I had metallic valve replacement. I had a metallic valve in my heart. So there is a particular way in which I can live my life.
Yeah.
And I do not think that the burden of national leadership, I think the burden of national leadership is too heavy for me to carry that heart if I want to live a bit more for myself and my children.
Some people...
So I made it very clear that I am not interested, but I'm interested in making sure that I create institutions of young people and prepare them for political leadership. And that is what left me in CA.
Some say that, Ismaila is conflicted already.
Right now, yes.
He cannot make a statement about Nene because it's about the government. And already it is in good books of Barrow, but also some are saying that he works at the University of the Gambia, and you cannot be a public servant at the same time a politician. Look. So in your capacity as party leader of a political party, at the same time you work at the, if you want to speak in your capacity as a party leader, then there's a problem.
But the CA is an institution.
But let me
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that there's justification. I'm saying
I know
the reason why he cannot make a statement as leader of the party, or the party cannot make a statement where Ismaila will be present. It's that he should not be in an executive of a political party at the same time working as a public servant.
That is probably true. But let me tell you this. When Ismaila was getting into politics, he was not a child. Ismaila is about 47. He looks like an 25-year-old young man, but he's not. And unlike other people, Ismaila has the honor of having been very educated as a politician before he got into politics.
Yes.
So nobody can tell him how politics works. He should be preaching to us how it works. And he knows that when you give in, when you take up political party leadership, it comes with consequences.
It does.
One of the consequences is that if you were working for government, you might not work for government anymore if you do not win an election. So I am not sorry for Ismaila that he cannot say anything because he works in university. Does he have to continue working in university? Ismaila, a party leader, is a full-time politician.
Yeah.
Hello? Do you understand what I mean?
I know.
Yeah.
If you are not a full-time politician, then in the first place you should never have given yourself in for party leadership. It's not a beauty contest.
Yeah.
So really, that's not an excuse. He in the first place should have made sure that before he takes the position of party leader, he was ready for it. If he tells us now he's going back to the university, he needs a job to feed his family, then he was not ready for it. He in the first place should not have contested for the position of party leader. And probably we would have had somebody else.
I was going to say, why wouldn't CA, in fact, when he announced that, because he said he was going back to university, and it was all over. People said, doctor is back in the university and all that. He's in our unit, okay? I work with him, but why didn't CA, CA could have also said, well, if you are back in the university, it means you're a public servant. You can't also be the leader of a party because it's going to stop.
He actually told me that he was going to the university.
Yeah, because he's going to hide his hands to say certain things. He cannot speak on political platforms.
And I did not question that. If he wanted to go to university, let him go to university. Now he gets to university, if the university is now telling him that he cannot, being in the university as a staff is not consistent with him being a member of the executive of a political party, then he has to make a choice. Which choice is he going to make? For Ismaila or for nation?
So yeah, so I think both the university and CA have a role to play here. When CA, because Ismaila's hands will be tied, in the sense that he cannot also make political statements. He cannot stand on political platforms for CA.
But that's what I'm saying.
Good for the party.
That's what I'm saying. He has to make a choice.
But it's also about CA, Honorable.
No. Let him make a look. This is politics. Okay? There are advantages and opportunities that come with being a party leader.
A party leader, yeah.
And when those things comes, he enjoys them and he celebrates them.
Yeah.
So when the challenges comes, you should stand up.
Them. And I mean, if you want to be a party leader,
if
you want to be the party leader,
if you are unable to do, to
make yourself available.
Nobody. I will not tell anybody. Look, you know that.
Yeah.
You should resign. You should. No, I will tell anybody.
No.
If you think that the university, that job is more important to you than being party leader, go.
Then if for instance today, CA wants to organize press conference or political rally, and as the leader of the party,
and you have to address the rally,
and he said, I cannot address the rally because of this, that, and that. Maybe it happens once, consistently it's happening. CA as a party, you can also say, look, this cannot continue.
Absolutely.
And that's the angle.
That's what I expect CA to do. Okay, that's what I expect CA to do.
Because our party leader is nowhere to be found.
Yes.
But then what even happened after the December elections? We have not seen Ismail even during Nene's campaign.
Yeah, I know.
We have not seen him actively in politics since there were rumors that he was going to be minister, and then that didn't happen. He went back to the university, and since then the monthly press conferences have stopped.
They have stopped, yeah.
No. Things have happened in the country where political parties or leaders have issued statements. CA have not taken position in anything. I haven't heard many. I don't know if there was any since December. And
CA is in hibernation politically.
In hibernation?
Oh yes, this is exactly what has happened on the ground. Tell me it is not. Where is CA?
Where is CA?
Do you hear about CA?
No, I don't.
From CA?
Only Nene Frida.
Tell me. And only in relation to her case.
So, the notion that Dr. Cisse sold CA to NPP.
I'm not sure about that, and I wouldn't say that.
But then that's the notion that people say.
He might have sold himself to NPP. But he should not be able to sell the party to MPP.
And the party is bigger.
Because, the party is bigger than him, and the party can decide that it does not want to join NPP or UDP. Look, when we decided that we were not going to endorse
any candidate, yes.
They brought the issue of endorsement. There are several people.
I was going to say that.
Why didn't you endorse?
Why didn't NPP?
But we decided at the time looking at the political situation at the time, it was in CA's interest not to endorse any political party.
Okay.
That was, and we had a right to that judgment.
Yeah.
Yes.
We took
That decision.
that decision.
But your party leader endorsed the president.
No,
I mean,
campaign for the president. So meaning,
Yeah.
if the party leader campaigned for the president, CA campaigned for the president.
That's what I'm going to
And
say.
that's the point.
Not only that, there were pictures that were out there. A group of women who met the president, I think.
Yes.
for the election.
Were
Were you aware of that as the national president?
Yes, but when I was told about that, I don't think Ismaila had anything to do with those.
With that one.
With those, yes. I mean, I'm not here to destroy Ismaila.
Yeah.
What he's not done, I would not
Say,
I would
yeah.
say he's done that. Those people went to meet the president. You know, some of these AI companies can take advantage of situations because we've not endorsed anybody. And they went to meet the president with CA t-shirts and said, "Yeah, we are CA members, but because we
are not contesting,
so I am here with my people. We will vote for you, but you know, we are still CA."
Yeah.
I mean, I know that happened, and those guys were reprimanded. You know, they were told that was not in order, and they accepted that. But Ismail had nothing to do with that.
Nothing to do with that.
But were you aware before they made that decision?
No. It was. Well, I also saw them like you. You did.
No.
And it shocked everybody. But well, it affected us, and so we had to deal with it.
I want to come on one important issue. It was the debate between Ismaila and Khalifa. This was in 2021, before the election. Some people were out there to say, I mean, after the debate, because I was there, I watched everything, you know, and we made analysis, I remember, on Fatou Network about the whole thing, and it was a good one. I mean, some people were out there to say that, I mean, Ismaila did not perform well because, you know, he was there, you know, praising Khalifa and the coalition before he realized it, time elapsed, and Khalifa came, bombarded, you know, and all that. And there were rumors that, I mean, Honorable Dominic Mendy did not even endorse that debate. That you said that Ismaila shouldn't have done that debate. Even before the debate, you said you did not agree. You did not want him to go to do that debate, but he insisted that he was going to debate. Is this the case? Or was this the case?
Not exactly like that.
Okay.
The debate was agreed before I could.
You were informed?
Yeah, and I didn't like that. I thought that we should have discussed this, but things happen in any institution, and I felt, well, okay, since that is the case already, what good do we take out of the debate? Because I cannot now tell them, no, the debate cannot take place. Are you with me?
Yeah.
Perfect. So we prepared Ismaila for the debate. And the positions that Ismaila took at that debate to make sure that he treated Khalifa Saleh as an elder statesman was a CA position.
It was good.
Because Ismaila had to know that Khalifa was older than him, and in the type of societies we come from, you have to respect your elders. And secondly, Khalifa has been in politics for a very long time, and he has gathered significant political capital and experience. So to go out there and belittle Khalifa, even if you outspeak him, it will boomerang on you as a politician eventually. Because when people sit down and settle and calm down, then they begin to ascribe adjectives like, oh, this man is young, he's rude, you know, and in our society those things are very important.
Yeah, they're important.
So I think in that debate, Ismaila did a fantastic job of keeping to the ring fence that CA defined for him. At that time, Ismaila was wonderful because then he was a CA presidential candidate and party leader with the values and the ethos that CA worked with and he agreed to be guided by them.
It was also my argument when this person told me this way earlier at that time after the debate, because after the debate, I remember this was on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I mean, I met Ismaila and I was even telling him, giving him feedback and all that. And when this guy told me this later, I said no. But I think Ismaila, as the party leader of CA, if he wants to have a political debate, a debate with any politician, I think that should be wholeheartedly endorsed by the party. Even if he can just wake up from a sleep and say, I am going for a debate, the party should be able to say,
no,
okay.
No, I disagree with you there.
That is just a hyperbole. But it's a hyperbole statement. But then I'm saying like it's good for the party.
It is. And that was why I accepted it.
Exactly. And I told him clearly, I told a lot of people that he did well. For me, he did well. It was not about performance. He did well. I mean,
he did well. So no, Ismaila is a brilliant man. Yeah. You know, and he's a likable, nice person. When he charismatic and all that. And when he chooses to be like that.
Yeah. Now, before I'll come back.
But what has happened between when he went to see president and now, for which there is some metamorphosis in his personality, God knows. That is.
See, President Barrow has said this and people underestimated him. He said he's a political animal. And he has manifested that time and time again. Remember when Ismaila made the statement against the president? Nobody has ever angered President Barrow like Ismaila did. Yeah. But for President Barrow to have a conversation with Ismaila and get him turned and get him to even kind of abandon his party values and principles and go campaign for him and everything, like you're saying, change. That should tell us something about President Barrow. That when he wants something, he goes for it.
And I agree with you.
It doesn't matter.
Barrow is a smart politician.
He's a smart politician.
If you think he's not smart, you're joking. Look, when Yahya Jammeh first became president here, after the takeover of government, you know, people used to say, Amratatoy. Remember that?
Yes, yes.
Huh? And he spoke as if he was retarded. It's deadly for you to think that Yahya Jammeh is retarded.
Yeah.
Because he's one of the most brilliant minds in the world. And that, as a result of that, he took so many people by surprise. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Okay? Barrow is exactly the same. Barrow may talk like somebody who is not
interested in anything.
But look, where is Alhaji Conte today? Alhaji Conte hardly makes any statement.
No.
I hardly see Alhaji Conte at the burials or in the naming ceremonies.
Yep.
It is as if he is avoiding society.
And the same thing
I'm just giving you an example.
The same thing for Ismaila. He doesn't even want to talk to
media. So do not underestimate Barrow. You know, Barrow has one advantage as a politician. He has the ability to ignore and yet be interested. You can insult Barrow. You can say all evil things about Barrow, and he will probably meet you and he'll probably smile at you. But that does not mean he's very happy about what you are saying about him. And he will look for a very nice way of coming back to you. And his coming back to you may not even be that he's going to destroy you, but he will destroy you by befriending you. That's exactly what has happened, probably, to my party leader.
Now, what is the state of the CA right now? No, how did you leave CA? What is the party up to?
Well, the party, like any party that has this, has a problem, because the party is torn into two camps, those who agree with what has happened and those who do not agree. The other day, they had what do you call it? An online
town hall.
And I was very happy to hear Ismaila speak.
Wow.
Because since December, he's not spoken in any public forum.
Wow.
Of course, the town hall was not holding government accountable for things, but actually trying to show that my resignation was unnecessary and that I was responsible for anything that might have happened in the party. But it was a duty to hear him, at least for once after a very long time, speak to the grassroots.
Yeah.
What has happened to him? He's gone dumb.
And he's somebody, when he speaks, people listen, because he's very likable.
Yeah, he's likable.
He's very likable.
He's likable. So it is unfortunate that is the predicament. But you know, CA is a party torn on itself today, and it's a party trying to look for its life and momentum.
Now, I like that, looking for its life and momentum.
Yeah.
And you've resigned from the party, not only as the national president,
From
but also
membership,
as a member.
because I do not want to influence whatever is happening there. I want to give them the opportunity to deal with the issue.
Exactly. And you feel like you think this could be, you hope that this would be
A wake-up call.
A wake-up call.
Sufficient sacrifice to provide a wake-up call.
For a start, we are talking about CA. Yeah.
Yeah, it will be an honest, rethink. It will bring that sense of thinking and honesty in the party. If today, the membership of CA, were able to come together and realize that, look, what you've done is the most honorable thing, and some of the things that happen in the party are very unfortunate, and they want to come back and revive the party, and to make sure that it is back on those values that it was founded upon. And probably they seek your advice. They say they will want your intervention, they will want your help, your advice, your guidance. As the national president, as the former national president of the party, will you be interested to see CA revived?
I love your last statement. As the former national president of the party, certainly, I do not want to destroy CA. I am politically confused myself today because I do not know which party to belong to, if I have to belong to a party at all. Because really, I was part of the creation of CA. CA was created by all of us, not by Smiler.
Yeah. I was aware of everything when it started.
Perfect. So if today CA takes the right steps and moves towards the right direction, want my support, I'll provide it. But I will not provide it as national president.
And not as a party member.
No, I can be a party member.
But so meaning you can go back to the party?
Yeah, of course. If look, I do not create institutions to destroy them.
Destroy them, yeah.
I'm not the type
But
of
his
person.
statement, though, he said, I hope this can trigger. That is what he wants. He wants a reflection. Because you can be inside something and you don't know that there's something wrong. Maybe this would be a wake-up call for us.
The only time I will really be disappointed and really ashamed about my resignation is when it is unable to resurrect CA. Then I would say, well, the tool is wrong.
But what do you think can be done now to bring CA back to what you wanted to?
I think Ali Jain, the diasporan president of CA, is the only person in that national executive who has the integrity to take control of CA.
You said integrity.
Yeah, he has the moral integrity to take that because he listens to wisdom, and you can tell when he dialogues that, well, he might not take the steps I have taken, and I do not blame him for that. Everybody have to decide at a personal level when to quit. But he's objective. The others, except Nene, really, I don't think the others have. In fact, they should dissolve. In fact, in my letter, I said they should dissolve the national executive and call an emergency Congress. Oh yes.
The entire executive? Dissolve the executive?
Oh yes, dissolve it because it's lost its. Look, if our party leader has problems, tell him.
Yeah.
If you cannot tell him, then you have nothing. But
Dominic, this is what I told Nene when I had her on my show here. When Nene came, she said the reason. I said, tell me what is the difference between CA and other parties, and she said, oh, for us at CA, Dr. Cisse is might be the party leader, but he doesn't take the absolute. He's not the decision maker.
That was CA.
We all discussed. We are not a yes sir, yes ma party.
And she was right at the time she was telling
but that is not the case now.
No, that's not the case now. Because if that was the case, we would not have come here. I would not have had this interview.
Maybe it was going to be another interview.
Yeah, another interview, but not on this type of subject matter. And I think that, all parties should learn from this. We should learn to hold our party leaders accountable.
Yes.
If they are not doing it right, let us try to resolve this internally. If it cannot work, bring it to the public domain.
Yes.
But any party that has the capacity to establish government, that because one day the voters may decide to elect them into office, should sufficiently display the ability of its leaders, people and institutions to be, one, law-abiding, and two, be led by the people and not by themselves.
Parties are governments in waiting.
Yeah, they are governments in waiting.
Parties are governments in waiting. That's why internal party politics is important.
It hurts me to imagine what CA is going through today because I have resigned. But it's necessary.
The party headquarters is in your office, right?
It's in my office, yes.
It's still there?
Well, I have not sent them away.
Okay.
And it is the registered party headquarters.
Mm-hmm.
If they come to my office and say they want to hold meetings, I will let them hold meetings until
they find a new place.
Until they find a new place.
Okay.
Have you seen them since you resigned?
No, I have not seen them.
I'm interested to see how you'll interact with them when you see.
Well, funnily enough, if I meet Doctor today, we can have coffee together.
Yeah.
And we can even talk about this subject matter, and I'll still tell him how I feel about him. And I have no, and we won't exchange, we won't trade blows as a result. No.
No.
Yeah, I want to take us back to what happened before the election, and this was the rejection.
have 10 minutes to go.
10 minutes to go.
Yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, but it's about the rejection of CA, and some people said that the party did not do a good job in terms of, endorsements in Banjul. They messed up, and that was what happened. Later, the IEC had to reject you, and then you went to court. The court said, accept more nominations from them. You submitted, IEC rejected you again. Was this the case?
Let me tell you this. We submitted to IEC, and IEC did not find our nominations from Banjul sufficient. And I do not, or neither did CA at the time, disagree with IEC. We did not disagree with them because the judgment as to whether a nomination was acceptable or not was not a party's but the IEC's.
The IEC, yeah.
So, and they made judgment that we did not provide sufficient nominations from Banjul, judgment correct. But that is not sufficient to keep us out of the ballot box from a constitutional point of view. And we asked for a meeting with IEC. The chairman, the deputy chair, and other members of the commission were seated there. And we tried to explain to them that, look, we agree with this judgment, but, the judgment that we did not provide sufficient nominations from Banjul. But that is not sufficient for you to keep us out of the ballot box. And IEC, we are relying on the election law rather than on the constitution.
Oh, yes.
And we tried to provide that wisdom to them, and I must say that at some point there was an element of arrogance from IEC.
Yes.
That was what sent us to court. But we won the case. And IEC refused to implement the case. You understand what I'm trying to say? But we could have also gone back to court for contempt of court.
Yes.
And definitely, the judge, which judge hears the contempt, is the judge that passed the verdict. You know where IEC would have gone? To mile 2. And who would have gone to mile 2?
The chairman.
The chairman.
That man would have been dead man after 24 hours.
Yeah.
You think we will do that? Our intention is not to hold the passing of the chairman.
Yeah.
Our intention is to show that institutionally we are wrong and hope that they can correct themselves so that election hearing will be better for everybody going forward. We have achieved it. So we left it there. We are responsible people. That was our show of responsibility. But remember, that case cost us a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we still left it there.
Did they compensate you?
No, they didn't. What is it that we didn't?
I think the court ordered that they should pay compensation.
The court ordered that. We can go to court for that. But the easiest thing to do was to go for contempt of court.
God, yeah.
And certainly 99.9999%, Njai would have been in mile 2. But imagine, Njai's fifth or sixth son, which is my age.
Yeah.
I grew up in his house. You think I'll take him to mile 2 and then go to the burial?
No, yeah.
I cannot do that.
You cannot do that.
We are not raised like that
Yeah,
as Gambians.
As Gambians. Now, finally, Honorable, what do you think is the way forward for you? Are you going to be doing politics, or are you just going back to your corner and do your consultancy?
No, my political minefield, or do I say my political garden is CA.
Yeah.
If it could not have worked with CA, then I am just disappointed that maybe I am not the generation that will resolve the political problems of this country. That is for somebody else, for you, for him, for him. So I will sit down and I'll watch you and I'll advise you to the best I can, whether you are in UDP or whether you are in GDC or whether he is in a party that is yet to be born. But that is if CA has not been resurrected. If CA is resurrected, even if I do not rejoin CA, I will continue to support CA's survival. Wow. Because if it's resurrected and re-engaged in its original values, then I have nowhere else to go but
CA.
But also the product of your hard work and the sacrifice that you have done.
Absolutely.
By designing.
Absolutely.
Is that your final message before I get him to say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was an interesting conversation. I think I'm not sure this is the first time you appear before the media since you're.
I appeared on Coffee Time.
Coffee Time.
Coffee Time, yeah.
And this will be the last, of course.
This will be his last.
This will be the last on this subject matter.
Yes.
And I hope that all those that are listening, the media houses listening, will take cue from this and avoid thinking that I have refused to talk to them.
Yeah.
So don't come to me in the first place. I am not fighting CA. I am clarifying what is happening in CA, that which needs to change. And I have tried to do so internally. It cannot happen. I brought it to the public domain so that CA will be triggered to rethink its ways. Period.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you, Esa. That was a great conversation. I want to also state that we have contacted, before even thinking about talking to Dominic, we contacted Dr. Ismaila. I called him. He did not pick. I told you, actually you were on the phone. I also tried to get Nene on the show, but I was not able to get her also. Buba had tried to get the CA on the Politikacha on Tuesday. They directed him to another guy who said he was going to talk to the executive and get back, and they said their statement was enough. They were not going to talk about this. So I just wanted to put that out there, that we reach out to them first before even contacting Honorable to speak to us, and we are grateful that you came, and we want to thank you so much for coming.
I am grateful for the platform too, and I hope that society will understand where I'm coming from.
And I want to make this anecdote. You know, I remember we having some issues with CA one time when an executive member called the platform names, and I brought it to the attention of Nene, because we were worried, and Honorable was so generous to apologize on behalf of the party and drove all the way here. Even when I said, no, please don't come, you know, it's okay. He said, no, we are partners in development, and I wanted to make sure I apologize on behalf of my party. And that was really too big for me. And I told Nene, no, he should not have come, because at the end of the day, I understand your position. It's not everybody
what
that thinks that
we did was
way.
wrong.
Yeah.
And the right thing to do was to correct it by coming to say, ma'am,
yeah,
we're sorry.
Yeah, we
and
really
I came here
appreciate
at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, we really appreciated that, and I want to say thank you very much for that. That meant so much to me and the rest of the institution.
I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And to those that are watching, I want to thank the people that sent us stars: Bakari Sonko, Babukar Manka, Sadio Mane, Sanakonta, Chicks, Karamo.
Is it Sadio Mane of Bayern Munich?
No, I wish Sadio Mane of Bayern Munich can send us stars. That would be huge. I wish he can send us stars. But no, another Sadio Mane, Gambian Sadio Mane. Karamo Jame, Seni Koli, Mohamed Lamin, Modu Lamin Drame, Lamin Sise, Kijera, Alice Sajo, Momodu Ba, Cisse, Mr. Barry. We want to thank all of you, Jamme, Abubakar Fati, Mohamed Lamin Silla, Musa Drame, Bai Sherif, Raymond Koka, Mamadi Koka, and Babukar Manka. We want to thank you because in that they are directly supporting the network, and we want to thank them for sending us stars. And thank you so much to the technical team, Charles, Siri, Mustafa. We want to thank you all. Good night to you all. And tomorrow, I have an exclusive interview with UDP leader after 7 months. What happened at the what happened, his incident at Kayaf. We talked about the incident at Kayaf. We talked about the election, what happened, the petition. We also talked about his health right now. We talked about the state of the country. The party, is he thinking about, not be a party leader. We talked about that. We talked about the reconciliation with President Barrow. So all of that tomorrow at 4 p.m. You can join us for that exclusive interview. Thank you very much once again, Honorable. Good night to you all. See you next week. Bye-bye.
Better and stronger as the sole ground operator at the Banjul International Airport. With an expansion in travel services, customers are assured of GIA's capacity to cater for all their travel needs, provided by professional, experienced, and ever-smiling staff. GIA's Hajj package and services, by far the best in the country, give the customers the opportunity for a memorable Hajj experience. For a more efficient cargo services, GIA means business as it launches its new multi-million-dollar ultra-modern cargo complex to revitalize and stimulate air transport. GIA, the pride of the Gambia.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon. To make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy. That daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements, merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia.